Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a really interesting set of sources called Home and Away.
hmm
And our mission really is to pull out some key lessons about everyday English. We're looking at vocabulary, pronunciation, that sort of thing.
Right.
The sources, they start with a few people, Brenda, Shona, Martin, Oliver, Artem, and Dasha, and Carter, and they're all just talking about what they miss when they're away from home.
Yeah, and that's such a simple idea on the surface, but if you zoom out a bit, the real gold here is, linguistic.
Also,
We're basically decoding the shortcuts our language takes, how we build new ideas just by sticking old words together, and maybe more importantly, how our pronunciation gives the whole game away.
okay, let's unpack this then. Let's start with the mechanics of these compound words.
Great place to start.
Your materials show how one root word, like heart, can become a noun or an adjective. For nouns, you have things like a heart attack or a heartbeat.
And the crucial thing there is the pronunciation. For compound nouns, it's almost always that first word that gets the stress. Heartbeat, heart attack.
Right.
That first stress is like a quick signal to the listener. It says, hey, this is one single thing.
Hang on, so if I apply that same logic,
Mm,
when we switch to words that describe something, adjectives like heartwarming or heartbroken,
mm.
does the stress change then?
That's it exactly. When heart is part of an adjective describing a feeling or a quality, the stress tends to shift or it becomes more balanced.
I see.
Heartwarming describes something that warms the heart, and mastering that little stress shift is the key, you see. It tells you the word's function. Is it naming something or describing something?
And you see that kind of, that economy of language everywhere. I mean, think about compounds with life. You get a noun like lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
but then you also get adjectives like lifelong, or even more complex ideas like life expectancy or a life story. It's a really powerful way to pack meaning into just a couple of words.
And that structure is so productive when we start talking about home and house. We can combine them to describe a status or a place or a process
Like homemade or housebound.
or hometown or the classic housewarming.
Oh, speaking of housewarming, I have to say I loved the cartoon in your source material, the one with the people in an igloo.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And they're joking about skipping the party next time because the housewarming wasn't exactly, well, warm. It just nails how specific that compound is. It means a party.
It's a perfect visual aid. And to show the sheer variety, I mean, just look at that big A-B table you shared. You find compounds we use every single day.
Like what?
Well, things like junk food, that's a common one. And then essential tech like air conditioning. This stuff is really the backbone of modern casual vocabulary.
Okay, so let's shift gears from the words themselves to, I guess, the flow of language. Because knowing the words is one thing, but knowing the music of a conversation, that's another challenge.
It really is. And that's where the everyday English section comes in. It gives us these great pairings for, when you just bump into someone.
Right.
That kind of practice is just critical. For example, someone says, great to see you, come on in. The natural reply, the one that sets the right casual tone, is something like,
I was just passing and I thought I'd drop in.
exactly. It shows you understand the social context.
Or what about when the conversation turns to plans? The question, how come you're not having a holiday this year?
That needs a really direct conversational reply. Something like, we just can't afford it.
And this is where the intonation becomes your secret weapon, isn't it?
Absolutely. The sources really stress this. You have to practice these full conversational chunks, not just the single words, with the right stress, the right intonation. That's what makes it stick. It becomes muscle memory.
So what does this all mean then? It seems we've looked at how compound words are built. We've learned how stress tells us if it's a thing or a description. And we've seen how practicing these conversational pairings is the key to sounding, authentic.
Which leaves a pretty interesting question for you to think about. Next time you see a compound adjective like life-size or heartwarming, think about the hyphen.
Okay?
That tiny little mark or the stress pattern we've been talking about, it's like a linguistic contract. It forces two separate ideas into one single concept. What's so fascinating is just how much work a little bit of punctuation or stress can do. It's a massive shortcut in communication.
A really practical insight to take away. Thank you so much for sharing these sources with us for this deep dive.